Okay. So, can you please say your name?
Lizzy McClellan.
And can you spell that?
Yeah, it's Lizzy
Mm-hmm.
McLellan.
Okay. And what's your major?
Journalism.
Okay. And what is your position in Gymkhana if you have one?
I'm the team secretary.
Okay. And what do you do as the team secretary?
Um, I'm part of the officer body, which is just like any other club. We have a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and historian. So, as a part of that, I'm just generally a leader on the team. But as secretary specifically, I do some of the administrative stuff like forms, attendance, things like that.
Okay. And is that a big time commitment being secretary?
Yes.
Okay, so why did you decide to participate in Gymkhana?
um, I actually had no idea I would end up doing Gymkhana when I came to Maryland. But my sister, who is 4 years older than me, was on the team at the time, and she got me to try it. She convinced me to come to a practice, and I really liked it a lot more than I expected to. So I kept going, and then, 3 years later, here I am.
So, what did you like about Gymkhana? Why did you decide to come back?
Um, the thing I liked initially about it so much was that I was a total beginner. I'd never done gymnastics before. And not everybody who joins is like that. A lot of people come in having, 5, 10, 15 years of gymnastics experience. But even though I was a beginner, there were a lot of people who were also beginners and a lot of people who are willing to help and teach, and kind of uh, let you in even though you didn't have experience. It didn't feel exclusive or, anything like that.
So, now a few years later, do you feel like you're fulfilling that role, like the role that older people fulfilled for you back?
I mean, partially, I still have so much to learn. There's only so much gymnastics you can learn in 3, 4 years, but I definitely feel like I've been able to pass on some of what I've learned over the past few years and help the beginners as well.
So, what are some of the acts that you perform for Gymkhana?
One thing I do is partner balancing. So that's working with a small team to, do kind of an acro gymnastics combination routine. And then I'm also in ladders, which you may have seen us do.
Mm-hmm.
And so we hang from a ladder and do some interesting choreography on that. So
That's cool. So, how do you feel Gymkhana impacts the community?
um, I mean, our purpose as a team is to go around and go to different schools, elementary, middle, and high schools mostly, and tell the students, that we all live drug free and alcohol free, and that you can do that even in college and have a great time. So I think we really do help kids to see that there is that option. Um, and we've had kids that come. We also hold a summer camp in the summer, and we've had kids that come there, and it really makes a difference to them, and really shapes who they become. The fact that they've had these role models who show them that there is more to life than going out and drinking or doing drugs.
So, how do you feel the gymnastics part of Gymkhana relates to that message that you guys are trying to?
Well, it's so much easier to be invested in a sport when your body is healthy and you're making good choices for yourself. Drugs and alcohol can be really destructive, and especially for an athlete, it's important to build your body up instead of breaking it down. So, I don't think that it's as easy to do and learn some of the stuff that we're doing and learning if you're putting substances in your body that don't belong there.
Yeah. So, is there any memorable moment that you have going to these elementary school students or middle, high school students where you thought like, wow, these kids like really got the message, or you felt that you impacted someone's life?
I mean, I think the best thing to see is I don't think a 7-year-old's going to necessarily come up to you and tell you that you changed their life. But some of the kids that, they're my age or a couple years younger, some of the students that have joined the troop recently came to summer camp as kids, or they saw a Gymkhana performance. And so clearly it made that much impact on them that they're now coming to join the troop. And that's pretty inspiring to me to see someone who, you know, 10, 5, 10 years later comes back and says, I saw what you did and I want to do it too.
Gotcha. So why do you think it became so popular?
It's really a unique group, and I'd say it's kind of a cycle. We are one of the biggest student groups. We might be the biggest student group on campus. I want to check that. At this point in time, and that just leads to more. And I think having that beginners aspect is really, really a huge part of that, because even if you join an intramural or a club team, you might feel as if you need experience to do well. And this is a team where we say you are going to do well, but you don't need experience. You are going to learn new things, but if you bring the ambition to do it, that's all you really need. And then I think that, along with I think the pledge, the drug pledge and alcohol pledge, really does have something to do with it, because I think a lot of kids come to college not wanting to engage in partying behaviors or risky behaviors, and they don't necessarily know where to go. And a lot of people come to Gymkhana for the first time just because they know that it's a safe place where they won't be pressured to do anything like that.
So I hear all the time how people on Gymkhana say that someone came in not having any gymnastics experience whatsoever and is transformed. Does that really happen in Gymkhana?
Yeah, I've seen it many times. I came into Gymkhana with no gymnastics experience, and I wouldn't say I'm an elite gymnast or anything by any means, but I've definitely grown as an athlete, and I'm doing things that when I was a freshman and just joined, never thought I'd be doing. And I've seen countless teammates do that and more. Some of the people that are the stars of the show, their senior year came in not knowing how to do a cartwheel, and that's pretty cool.
So how often do you guys have to practice for Gymkhana?
We practice, I think there's a total of 11 available practice hours per week, and we're required to go to at least 6. A lot of people do more than that, go to as many practices as they can, and yeah.
How often do you practice generally?
I'm usually between 9 and 11 hours a week.
So describe the typical Gymkhana practice.
So it'll start with warm-up, and it'll start with warm-up, and then we meet as a team, make any announcements about upcoming events and stuff like that. And then our coaches will pull together different acts that we do. It depends on the day. And we'll practice as a group, and then the people who aren't pulled together in their smaller groups, will just practice individually. So they'll do their own thing and maybe get some coaching help.
Gotcha. So what do you want Gymkhana to be remembered for, 10 years down the road?
That's a good question. If I could see Gymkhana 10 years down the road, I'd like to see it as an organization that keeps moving forward, and something that's always surprising people. I think that's one thing that we have going for us as a team that sets us apart from any other gymnastics group, is that we're always trying to do something different. And we already kind of surprise people by being a group of college students that doesn't go out and drink. So that's surprising enough to our audiences by itself. But I think if we could keep finding new ways to surprise people, if I could go to a show in 10 years and be surprised, that would be pretty cool.
So do you think that there's a social aspect to Gymkhana? Are the teammates really close?
Yes, definitely. If you ask a a member who's been on the team, maybe 4 years, but maybe even a month, they will probably tell you that there's kind of a gymkhana family. We spend a lot of time together, whether it's practice or even, we have team socials. During the spring semester, we do our travel season, so we spend at least one day a week traveling together to and from a show all day long. So we spend a lot of time together, and we go through a lot together. And it's definitely the group of people that you go to after you've had a bad day, and they make you feel better. So I call it a family.
So how often do you guys have shows?
We have 3 or 4 shows in the fall semester, depending on the year, and then in the spring semester we have quite a few more. Usually between 8 and 10 each spring semester.
All right.
So some of those are here, and some of them are at schools elsewhere.
Okay, that's good. Is there anything else you want to add about Gymkhana?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.